Coming up, the latest on high water issues across the region.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. High water issues cause problems across the region. More on that in a moment. But first, the storms are finally making their way out of the bluegrass, and we return to winter tomorrow. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the latest as our first alert weather day continues. Evan,
That's right, Steve. We continue to see most of the heavy rain is already gone. We got some light to at times moderate rain still to go tonight, but I don't think it's a huge deal as we head through the rest of tonight. That cold front is on its way in. Let's see what we dealt with as we went through the day today. We had quite a bit of rain in many spots. These are the 24-hour rain totals from the Kentucky Mesonet. Jackson County topped the list, 3.65 at the station outside of McKee. Station outside of Paintsville got up to 3.22 inches today, and you see above 3 inches still in Morgan County and Owsley County, the two different sites in Breathitt County, nearly 3 inches and a little more than 2.6 inches in Pulaski County. Looking at the other sites, we got above 3 inches in Jackson. We got nearly 3 inches in Somerset. That is from the airport sensor there, and everybody else pretty close, 2.6 in Hazard. The level 2 slight risk for excessive rainfall continues tonight, but the severe weather threat is all but gone. The marginal risk is all that's left. You see some pockets of moderate rain right now along I-75 in parts of Laurel and Whitley counties at this hour, but that cold front continues to push into the region. We still have numerous flood warnings and flood advisories in effect through the overnight and a flood watch that takes us through 6 o'clock. You see the cold air moving into the west. Louisville's at 43, while the rest of us are in the 50s and 60s. I'll detail what this means for a chilly Friday on the way tomorrow in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The rain is moving out, but not before, causing high water issues all across Kentucky. Areas like Breathitt County saw water get close to homes and cause a big rock slide. Chad Hedrick has a look at the reports around the region as rain fell and waters rose.
The images of rushing water in Breathitt County is unnerving for many in this community, just almost 7 months after deadly flash flooding. Here on Belch Fork Road, the creek running even with the pavement, even washing out this road to these homes. A man driving by says the last time he saw water that high was during the floods. A woman in the neighborhood says she was on edge, especially after she lost her sister in the flooding. Not far from Belch Fork, crews responding to this rock slide. Kentucky 52 closed while the boulder is removed. Emergency management says for the most part there were no significant issues reported from Thursday's rains. They monitored areas impacted from last summer's floods and say some access points were damaged, but nothing compared to what happened last year. In other areas of eastern Kentucky, high water over roads. This car washed off the pavement after driving through high water in Magoffin County. The storms damaged an Ace Hardware store in Russell Springs, the roof blown off this afternoon, and it appears a car was also damaged. Montgomery County's emergency management director told WKYT Thursday's high water from Hingston Creek was some of the most significant flooding he's seen in 5 years.
Everybody knows their own neighborhood where water stands, so just be careful. If the water's flowing over the road, don't just turn around. It's not worth it. Find the back way in and just keep your eyes open. Be aware of what's your surroundings.
Water blocked East Locust and Main Streets there, but crews expected damage to be minimal as waters receded. Chad Hedrick, WKYT.
Many school districts sent students and faculty home early this afternoon due to the threat of high water. Some will stay closed or open late tomorrow. You can see the latest list at the bottom of your screen. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from Johnson County on how the school district there decided on early dismissal and takes us to an area impacted by steady rain throughout the day.
On Thursday, schools across the Big Sandy began dismissing early. In Johnson County, school officials say the decision was all about the safety of their students and faculty.
We definitely did not want to risk students not being able to make it home safely or have a bus approach water or get caught into an area trapped with water. So we wanted to make sure that we try to get every student home safely before any type of emergency happens.
Just hours after the decision was made to dismiss, calls started coming in.
We did have a call that there was some significant flooding out in the Whitensville, Tudor Key area, north 23 from Paintsville.
This flooding happened to be in the area of W.R. Castle Elementary School, further affirming the decisions made by many of the region's school districts.
Turned out to be a great decision because, as you can see now, definitely we would not have been able to get some of our students home if we'd not made that decision earlier.
Johnson County Emergency Management Director Gary McClure added that the flooding was not over any major roads as of 5 p.m. and houses had not yet been damaged, but he hopes for a break in the weather.
Hopefully that creek will have a little bit of time maybe to run down. You know, it comes up really fast, but you know, in these cases, you know, if the rain lets up a little bit, it'll run down pretty fast.
And folks should pay extra attention to your surroundings if you have to be out. In Johnson County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
McClure added that the National Weather Service is forecasting much colder temperatures, and that may cause some slick roads tomorrow morning. Make sure you download the WYMT News and weather apps for the latest weather conditions, closings, and more. Well, more than 6 months since the late July flooding, and two siblings from Knott County say their bond is stronger than ever. Siblings Ted and Margaret both lost their homes and found themselves living together in Ted's shop. As of late December, they say they're finally moved into a new home and they're getting closer to normal.
Go about some of the things that you hadn't done since July. You can start getting back to normal by doing a few things and picking up trash and stuff.
Both Ted and Margaret say they still have a lot to do, but are thankful for the outpouring of help they have received. Some organizations received flood relief money from Kentucky's Safe Fund this past week. Jackson Energy Cooperative, Letcher County Fiscal Court, and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet combined to receive around $6.5 million. Governor Andy Beshear says the funding is another step in a rebuilding effort that will take years.
It takes time for the applications to come in, but we believe we have over $1 billion of damage just in water and wastewater. So significant resources are going to be needed in what is, I believe, the toughest rebuild the country has ever seen.
Governor Beshear also says the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund now has more than 41,000 donations and has raised $13.1 million. The Kentucky Supreme Court has issued a ruling on abortions. Today's ruling involves an injunction that tried to temporarily block Kentucky's abortion ban. Justices say the ban can remain in effect while a lawsuit against the ban plays out. That means nothing is changing for now, and almost all abortions remain illegal in Kentucky. A controversial bill that deals with transgender issues in schools passed the Kentucky State Senate this afternoon. The Senate cleared the bill 29-6 that deals with pronoun usage and human sexuality. Supporters say it protects educators from having to follow certain mandates on the use of pronouns. Some minor changes were made to the bill that was passed in committee last week. It now heads to the House. A bill filed in Frankfort today would not allow public colleges and universities to enter into lifetime contracts in the future. The Herald Leader reports it would not impact the lifetime contract of UK basketball coach John Calipari, but Representative Patrick Flannery's bill would create a law that would not allow such arrangements in the future. House Bill 336 has not been assigned to a committee yet. Now to an update on a story we first told you about last night at 11. The Knox County Sheriff's Office says the students who complained of side effects from a tainted vape pen are improving. The sheriff says the pen contained THC, but lab tests have not yet confirmed if any other substance was involved. Several students at Lindcamp School were sent for medical treatment after experiencing symptoms. A spontaneous revival at Asbury University in Wilmore is once again open to the public. The nonstop prayer and worship movement started last Wednesday. Last night, the school paused it from 1 a.m. until noon to allow students time to worship privately. The White House is developing sharper rules for when to shoot down unidentified objects in the sky following a Chinese spy balloon and 3 other objects spotted over North America. U.S. officials tell CBS News there is a growing belief that the Chinese did not initially intend to fly the balloon over the continental U.S. Chinese officials continue to deny the balloon was used for spying and say the U.S. is escalating tensions. The president says the latest assessment is that those 3 other objects shot down were not from China, but from private companies or research institutions conducting science experiments. Senate Republicans on Capitol Hill are introducing new legislation to increase security at the border. They say they are worried about human trafficking, drug trafficking, and illegal immigrants. Now they are introducing laws to crack down on security. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn is teaming up with fellow female senators to introduce a bill that would block traffickers from getting government benefits.
Currently, even after offenders are charged with federal drug and human trafficking offenses, many of them continue to live in government housing and receive other government benefits.
On the flip side, Senate Democrats say it is House Republicans who want to cut about 3,000 custom and border agents. Today, Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy planned to lead a Republican delegation on a trip to the border. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, if you want tickets for Keeneland this spring, you might already be out of luck.
Hey, cooler weather on the way as we head later into tonight. The latest breakdown coming up.